What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today we're going to be continuing our series on the road to Mythic. But we're back up to 10, which is, huge from being all the way down to 5, because mono red can deal 5 damage like nothing. They can sneeze and deal 5 damage to you. So they're going to block out the Healer's Hawk here. Well, no. They actually have to block out the Resplendent Griffin, otherwise we win, right? And for today's video in the series, we are going to be moving up to gold tier 3, and apparently I'm going to be getting notifications on my phone as soon as I start this video. No, but today we are going to be moving up to gold tier 3, which means another color scheme, and it's going to be Bant, because B comes after A, for those of you that don't know. So yeah, I was thinking and I was playing around and I was like, what's a Bant deck that's not played, that's not really looked into? And what I came up with was a Bant Flyers deck. So we're going to be playing Aggro Flyers in the Bant color scheme, and yeah, we'll hop right into the deck tech or the deck breakdown, and then we'll get right into our games. So kicking us off, we have 4 copies of Healer's Hawk, cheap flying creature with lifelink, so it's excellent to get buffed up. 4 copies of Curious Obsession, as we're playing a bunch of cheap flyers, so getting +1/+1 on them as well as the ability to draw a card is just huge, and it's very cheap. We have 4 copies of Dive Down, because obviously once you get your Curious Obsessions on your creatures and you get a couple favorable wins and people realize what you're doing, they're going to be trying to take out your flyers, so Dive Down helps to negate that. We have 3 copies of Pteramander for a flyer that can really be good all on its own, and we have plenty of instant and sorcery speed spells to throw in the graveyard and make the adapt cost a little bit less. Moving on, we have 3 copies of Siren Stormtamer. This kind of works as a dive down as well, but being in creature form. You can play Siren Stormtamer, pay 1 blue mana, and we'll be able to counter a target spell or ability that targets either a creature or us. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, moving on from Siren Stormtamer, we have 2 copies of Incubation / Incongruity. Incubation Incongruity allows you to sweep down into your deck for some more flyers, which could be excellent. Say you're in a hand where you have some Titanic Growth and some favorable wins, but no creatures to really buff up with those cards. Then you can use Incubation, look at the top 5 cards, put some kind of birdie, some kind of flyer into your hand. And then of course for 3 mana instant speed, we can always use Incongruity if our opponent has a really big creature that we don't want them to. So really good there, and the double cards are really good at being interchangeable, if that makes sense. Like if you need the creature, great. If you need the removal, great. So the versatility and the flexibility of it just really help round out the deck. Moving down, we have 4 copies of Favorable Winds, as we are playing all flyers. So it's basically like an Anthem creature, but it's a lot harder to remove because it's an enchantment. So 4 copies, every creature that we control with flying gets +1/+1. So huge bonus effect to all our flyers. Then we have 3 copies of Titanic Growth, and some people, this is where I'm sure I will lose you, and y'all say like it's not that good. But since we're playing Bant, I wanted to play some green cards, and I got to thinking Titanic Growth can actually be really strong. Say you put 2 Titanic Growths on one of your flyers, that's +8/+8. You got a Healer's Hawk even, then it's a 9/9. So you even have 1 copy of Favorable Winds, makes it a 10/10, which is half your opponent's life, as well as gaining you 10 life. So Titanic Growth, you can use it as a combat trick if you want to trade out with the creature. You can use it as an all-in swing effect. It's just really strong on flyers, very cheap, and it fits into the color scheme. So moving down, we have 2 copies of Growth Spiral. This is to help us either get some more card draw or ramp a little bit. But since we're playing aggro flyers, we don't really need to ramp too much. But I still find having Growth Spiral and having 3 lands in hand, it's just a really good feeling anytime you get it down and you get that ramp perfectly set up. So 2 copies there. We have 2 copies of Kinjalli Sunwing, which is an excellent flyer. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So all of their haste creatures, all of their creatures that they may be throwing down like Persistent Petitioners, their effects won't work off the bat. So that's excellent. We have 2 copies of Resplendent Angel, which makes this deck seem a bit more mid-rangish, and honestly I've thought about cutting out Resplendent in place of some more aggro-based flyers. because it does seem a little bit slow. However, if you do go into mid game, Resplendent can be, it can be that creature that saves you single-handedly. You just buff it up, you get it to a 5/5 with lifelink, you get the 5/5, you get the 5 lifelink, plus you get an angel token out of it with 4/4 flying and vigilance. And that's not even counting, any favorable wins or whatever you may have put on your Resplendent. So, moving us down from Resplendent Angel, we have Resplendent Griffin. So, cards you don't see too often, 3 mana, 2/2 flying, and if you are ascended whenever Resplendent Griffin attacks, you get a +1/+1 counter put on it. So, really, really strong, and it does put the counter on before the damage is dealt. So say you have, Ascension, you go to swing in with Resplendent Griffin for the first time, it's still going to go ahead and deal 3 damage because, again, it puts the counter on there before the damage is calculated. So, moving us down, we have 1 copy of Hadana's Climb. Now, I know some people are going to be really questioning this card and Titanic Growth, saying there's better spots, better slots for the deck. However, Hadana's Climb is actually really good. It gives one of your creatures a +1/+1 counter each and every turn, already solid. And if you choose to transform it, then you can basically double the power and defense of one of your creatures for just 3 mana, which is huge, right? So, as a one of, Hadana's Climb is mostly in the deck to help boost your birdies, help get them a little bit bigger and be able to deal with a few more creatures, because let's be real, you have 2 favorable wins down, you have a Curious Obsession, right? And all these are on a Healer's Hawk, then your Healer's Hawk's already, what, a 4/4? Hadana's Climb is going to make it a 5/5, a 6/6, so on and so forth. Also, it works really well with Resplendent Griffin, as Resplendent Griffin gives counters to itself, as well as Hydroid Krasis, so getting it flipped is not that big of a deal. And then moving on to our last flyer, we do have 3 copies of Hydroid Krasis, which is just a really, really solid flyer. And again, I'm going to apologize about my phone going off. I should probably start turning it down before I start these videos. But yeah, nonetheless, pay X plus 1 green and 1 blue mana, then you get to gain half of X in life, plus draw half of X in cards. But then you get a sizable flying trampler, and you get some card draw, and you get some life. So Hydroid Krasis is really good, and this isn't the kind of deck where you're trying to throw down a 6/6 or an 8/8 Hydroid Krasis. You're going to be perfectly fine with a 4/4 or a 3/3. It's just something to get in the sky that can be a little bit bigger, get you some card draw, and get you some life. So that's going to do it for the deck tech or the deck breakdown, and I'm going to put my phone on silent, and we're going to hop right into the games. Nice Rice shall be our first opponent, and decent little hand here. We don't have any green mana for the Growth Spiral, so I gotta say I'm a little bit disheartened, but Curious Obsession can still go down on the Pteramander, more than likely is how we'll play that. Because we don't want to put Curious down on the Siren Stormtamer, because then if we want to sacrifice the Siren Stormtamer, we're at a bit of an awkward position. So probably up against mono red here, which means we will need to move fast, and hopefully we can get a Healer's Hawk down and get some buffage to it. So yeah, things we're looking to draw: green mana, especially now that we have 3 cards that contain green in them, greenness. So yeah, green mana, Healer's Hawk, things that'll help us survive against this onslaught of spells. So there's green mana that we needed. Excellent. However, it is a shock land, so that's a bit disheartening. However, they're just going to lightning strike our birdie out of the sky there. So what I'm thinking we do here actually is just go ahead and throw it down tapped. We can go ahead and get down to Siren Stormtamer, but this way at least we're not shocking ourselves. And I also need to turn down the volume in my headphones because I feel like it makes me yell whenever it's too loud. And they're just going to keep on lightning striking me in the face. So we can deal 9 damage with our Stormtamer, given it lives long enough, or 10, my bad. Resplendent Griffin, we're really nowhere near close enough for it to be useful. And we can't use the Growth Spiral plus the Siren Stormtamer, as we don't have the mana for it. So maybe we do just go for the Resplendent Griffin. It gives them a fair target to attack. Could have also went with the Growth Spiral and hoped for a land draw, but I'd rather play something without hope than hoping that it works, if that makes sense. Like, I'd rather play something and be like, yeah, it's okay, than play something and be like, yeah, I hope it's okay. Alright, so we can Incongruity the Chain Whirler here, so that's probably what we're going to do. As Chain Whirler is really difficult. Actually, we can just Titanic Growth, right? And we can Incubation here. Yeah, I kind of like that a little bit better. So let's make sure we have enough for Titanic Growth. So we want to be tapping our blue mana for this Incubation. Cancel. Cancel. Oh, okay. I hit it in the middle of the phase. Okay, so no attacks. Oh, you know what? I messed up because I activated the mana in the middle of the phase. Ugh. Excuse me. Wow. Being on the wrong phase really fucked me there. I think it's because I hit next and tried to play it at instant speed. Pay attention to what phase you're in. Biggest tip I got for everyone out there. Wow, that was really dumb. Alrighty. Now they'll probably swing in with the Chain Whirler here. Indeed they do. Past the blockers, we will block it, and then we will throw a Titanic Growth on Resplendent. So yeah, super big mess up there on the Incubation part. We could have drawn out another creature, which probably would have been the Hydroid Krasis, completely honest. Well, we can basically do the same play again and just swing in for a lot of damage. Let's go ahead and hit the Incubation, but I think we want to use the green mana here just in case. So we can play the Siren Stormtamer as well. There's a Healer Sock. We're going to 100% take that. And we'll play the Siren Stormtamer and the Healer Sock. We know that they will probably Shock or Lightning Strike out the Healer Sock, as it gives us a great way to come back, especially with Titanic Growth, right? That gives us 5 life gain. So it could be really strong for us if they don't decide to answer it on their turn. Which, let's see, they'll play the land and they'll play the Runaway Steamkin, so they'll be left with 3 mana. Which is plenty to take out a Healer Sock. So we'll just have to see what it be. So there's the Runaway Steamkin in the land, as I said. Now they have 3 cards. We have to hope that they can't kill the Healer Sock with one of those. The fun thing about this challenge also is, like, we're always going to be going up against these meta net tiered decks. So it's really interesting to see, like, if I can actually come out ahead, and if so, how I manage to. So I think, what are we at? We're at 7, so playing the Hydroid Krasis doesn't give us the Resplendent Griffin proc. I think we just Titanic Growth, swing in with the Healer Sock. And maybe the Resplendent Griffin as well, right? We're trying to rush him down. Maybe we keep the Siren Stormtamer back as a blocker. So I kind of like that, and then we Titanic Growth. And now we'll get it up back to 10 life, 8 damage. We don't quite have that on board, which is really unfortunate. We're at about half that, but we're back up to 10, which is, you know, huge from being all the way down to 5. Because mono red can deal 5 damage like nothing. They can sneeze and deal 5 damage to you. All right, so there's Vashino. Resolve. There's 2 damage coming to my face. That's okay. They got 2 cards. I don't think there's any way in hell they can deal, 8 damage with 2 cards. Even if they have another Skewer, we just block out this Runaway Steamkin. What is it? A risk factor? Experimental Frenzy. Okay. And if nothing becomes, like, say they don't try and shock us or anything else. And again, we could have used our Siren Stormtamer to block the Skewer of the Critics. But I think I'd rather have the unit down, honestly. Okay, so I have to defend out with Siren Stormtamer here. We'll defend the Runaway Steamkin. Then we might as well go ahead and draw the card, as we're fairly sure their turn's over. Dive down is nice. It's basically like having... Okay, so we play a Hydroid Krasis. We heal half of X, so we're only going to get 1 life out of it. That's going to be really scary. We can play it for 3, so we will. Of course, we could have kept mana for the dive down as well, but I think we just swing in with the Healer's Hawk here, keep 2 units back to defend. This will take us back up to 5, so we'll have to hope that they don't hit something here. It's obviously like a skewer the critics into Wizard's Lightning or something like that, and we're dead. If they get too many haste creatures, we're dead. There's a lot of conditions here where we're just dead on board. However, I do think we're holding our own fairly well against mono red, especially considering their draws, right? I've had some pretty fan-fucking-tastic draws. Well, there's already 2 guaranteed damage on the field, plus 2 more because we can only defend 2 creatures. So all they need is 1 damage. In mono red, they should be able to find that. So unfortunately, excuse me, unfortunately we're going to have a voice crack. Also, I think we're going to end up picking up a loss in game 1. And only by a little bit, huh? Goblin Chain Whirler. Well, that's the 1 damage they needed. So that's going to be the GG. Not quite sure if they understand or not that they have it. Or if they're just trying to play out their hand. We'll see. Surely they realize what they have, though. Alright, maybe they're just doing this, just doing this for a good time. Okay, all that just for a lightning strike in hand. That seems a bit excessive, seems like a bit of a douchey move, especially considering they're playing mono red. So it's not like, you know, it's not like they accomplished anything with that victory. Nonetheless, we'll move on to a game 2, and hopefully we'll be, you know, a little bit closer to that victory instead of just getting right there at it and almost tasting it. Jay the Ice Cube is going to be our next foe, rocking the Teferi avatar. Gotta make you think that they're playing Esper, right? That's a terrible hand. That's actually an ass tier hand. That's completely trash. Alright, so we will be taking a mulligan here. That's pretty ass too. But I'm not going to mulligan down to 6. Sure, at least that's a creature. Creature we can Curious Obsession, I guess, I suppose. Up against Gruul. Okay, so... Oh, no. Up against Gates. Shoulda known. Shoulda fucking known. It's a goddamn Teferi. I don't feel like anyone with a Teferi emblem plays anything less than a net deck, if that makes sense, right? I don't know if I've ever seen a Teferi on a jank deck. Which seems kind of fucked up, right? I think they're too good to play jank. Nonetheless, we'll see what our Gate foe has in store for us. Alrighty, so our opponent's off to a pretty good start. We could go ahead and get down Kinjallis, but honestly I want to get both Curious Obsessions down and get the card draw out while we can. We already know that the Gates Blaze is coming. You know, it's just a matter of when, not why. Or where even. It's just strictly a matter of when. Alright, so Favorable Winds is great. The mana is great. We'll throw it down tapped. So we're up to 4. Not too bad. Let's go. Go ahead and Gates Ablaze. Or Lava Pool. I mean, that works too. I know you Gates decks only run removal, the Ram, the Colossus, and the Angel. Past that, it's all removal, all counter, all bullshit. So, we'll throw down the Favorable Winds, we'll throw down the Healer's Hawk, and we'll throw down a land tapped. And just sort of hope. Hope we can etch out a victory here. Again, playing these jank and these offset decks up against these very meta, very net decks is difficult. It isn't something you can just do and be like, yeah, you know, this deck's pretty good, so it's definitely gonna win. Because these net meta decks are they're they're very efficient, if that makes sense. These are decks that so many people have taken a look at and have tried to refine them down to find exactly what's right, that it's very hard to come up with something that's any better in the standard meta. Hence why they are the meta. So yeah, they're probably running things like the thing that gives their creatures riot. I can't think of it right now, but I do think we want a Siren Stormtamer. Question is whether or not we put the Kinjallis on the field as well, and I think the answer is no. I think. Because right now they can already Gates Ablaze this and it'd be fucking ass, right? Another circuitous route. Okay, so no Gates Ablaze this turn. Of course, they're still at 18 health, so I guess it's not a huge ordeal, and they probably want to take out a few more creatures than just a Healer's Hawk and a Siren Stormtamer. There's the Gate Colossus. When you're right, you're right. Alright, so let's go ahead and Growth Spiral. another land. Not really what we want to be seeing. Dive Down is kind of good. Yeah, so I guess we just swing all in here. Unfortunately, the Dive Down doesn't make our Sunwing big enough to actually block the Colossus and not die, so that is unfortunate. And they also have, what, 8 gates down, so if they play a Gates Ablaze, they are going to be wiping our board, even, again, with the Dive Down. So yeah, super unfortunate, but we kind of got flooded, right? We only have 19 lands in this deck, 19 or 18, something like that. We have 6 on the field right now. Like, if that's not fucking crazy, I don't know. So if the Gates Ablaze here, then obviously we should have blocked. However, if they don't, then we have a decent sized swing in come the next turn. Something tells me they have the Gates Ablaze though. We'll just have to see and hope not. Gatebreaker Ram. Alrighty. And another one. Yeah, sure. Because playing a Gates deck, you get 2 9/9s for 3 mana. You know, Kinjalli's Sunwing is not actually gonna do it here for me. I think we're just gonna lose. Actually, we block the 2 9/9s. They deal 5 damage each. That's 10, and we're down to 6, which the Gate Colossus wipes out. Even if we block one of them with Siren Stormtamer and block the Gate Colossus, this seems like it's going downhill and going downhill fast. Alright, well, let's go ahead and swing in with the Healer's Hawk. They don't have us quite yet, so I'm not giving up. That's for damn sure. I'm not going down without a fight up against these Neta? I don't know why I keep mixing net and meta. Not going down without a fight against these meta decks. And of course, we'll be playing, you know, maybe 3 or 4. But I can't just hop into my first deck and be like, well, guys, we're going to be playing a net deck in the Bant color scheme. Cool. Sure. Why not? I think that is going to be GG though, because now our Sunwings don't block nearly as much damage. And we're losing everything this turn, right? Just so we can stay alive. And with 3 health. Yeah, there's nothing in our deck that can save us here. So, unfortunately, we are going to be picking up a loss in Game 2 as well, up against, right. Up against some, Gate deck. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thoughts here. But don't worry, I will not give up on Aggro Flyers. We're gonna go ahead and hop into a Game 3 here, and possibly a Game 4. Right afterwards. Alrighty, so here we are in a matchup against 2TCA. 2TCA. I have no idea what their what their name means, but we have a fair hand starting us off here. So we will pay the 2 life, get down the Healer's Hawk, throw the Curious Obsession. Oh, we may just go ahead and throw Favorable Winds down next turn, actually. Pitiless Pontiff? Yeah. Let's go with the Favorable Winds. We could have thrown Curious Obsession and used Incubation as well, or thrown Curious Obsession and got the Pteramander down. And they're going to use a Mortify on my Favorable Winds. Well, to be fair, I think I'd rather that happen than them use Mortify on a creature that I just used Curious Obsession on. So, yeah, we're going to go and throw Curious Obsession down, and then we will attack before we play anything else. So this way we can see what we draw out. Resplendent Angel. Okay, so that's probably another removal target for them. We could save our mana and hit a Growth Spiral on their turn. I kind of like the idea of that. We have plenty of creatures in hand right now anyways. Pass to attackers. They should swing in with Pitiless Pontiff. And indeed they do. Tithe Taker. Sure. Well, oh, son of a bitch. We should have played Growth Spiral before the Tithe Taker fell. I'm so sorry. So yeah, we'll go ahead and throw down another copy of Favorable Winds as it makes our Healer's Hawk all the bigger and better and badder. And then we'll swing in for the 3 damage. And of course we'll get the card draw off of it, so things will be excellent. Are they going to sacrifice the Tithe Taker already? Really? Just for a blocker against my 3/3? That's kind of crazy. Oh, well, I mean, I guess it also negates the fact that we could draw life. So let's go ahead and throw down the Pteramander. But we do get rid of their Tithe Taker, which is excellent. Really, really huge fuck up on my part by not playing Growth Spiral before the Tithe Taker came down. That was just like an absolute waste. But I seem to be playing pretty off this morning anyways, so you know, we'll just have to kind of hope. Again, we don't want to block there. Sure, let them deal the 2 damage. We're dealing more damage back to them anyway, so we are going to throw down the Favorable Wind before we attack here. And we will swing all in. That's 7 damage going to our opponent's face, so they'll be down to 9. We also get some card draw out of it. And our Healer's Hawk's just doing work. Doing a whole lot of work. So there's another land, which is a Growth Spiral. And we actually have enough permanents on the board to give our Resplendent Angel, or our Resplendent Griffin, I'm sorry, Ascension. So that's fantastic as well. I don't know why they're attacking in with their 0/1s. Okay, maybe they just hit all attack and that was it. So let's go ahead and Growth Spiral here. Incubation, Incongruity. Not awful, because we're probably going to use 1 Incongruity against their demon that they should have coming up on their next turn. Ministry of Obligation is really, really annoying because they can do the same thing that they did with their Tithe Taker. So we could just use Incongruity on the Pitiless Pontiff and be done. Or we can throw down the Resplendent Griffin. Here's the thing, if we go to Incongruity, the Pitiless Pontiff, they're going to use it on the Ministrant anyways, right? So it doesn't really solve us anything there. Let's go ahead and swing all in. We know that that is going to be their play here, so they don't lose the 7 damage. Then we'll probably throw down a Resplendent Griffin afterwards, so there's those 2. Oh, they're gonna let one of them go through. That's odd. Alrighty, so yeah, we will go ahead and throw down the Resplendent Griffin, and we might as well, no, we still have the mana for drop down, so let's save the blue mana. We do have lethal on board now, because we can just Incongruity the demon devil flyer thingy. Ooh, that is a big flyer. That is a big boy. Okay, so we'll take the 3 from the Pitiless Pontiff. And we'll kick it back to my turn. We could have used Dive down there and kept our Resplendent to defend the Pitiless Pontiff if we wanted, but I don't think there's really a need. So yeah, Incongruity on the flyer there, and I think we got it. we'll have to see. Obviously, they're going to block out the Healer's Hawk here. Well, no. No. They actually have to block out the Resplendent Griffin, otherwise we win. Right? So that's kind of nice. We will get the card draw this turn. All thanks to Resplendent Griffin's little bonus ability. Another Hydroid Krasis. I think we're going to keep the dive down. Again, we don't need the incubation. We don't need the creatures right now. We have plenty of creatures in hand. But this way, if they go to try and remove all of our creatures due to some effect, we can still win. So I do think that's going to be a game, though, as they're just swinging them with everything. Usually means... or they could have a Kaya's Wrath, right? That's just a whole board wipe. Or Zav Enforcer. That's not a Kaya's Wrath, and you definitely wouldn't play that before a Kaya's Wrath. And Imperious Oligarch. Okay, so 2 more creatures that they can sacrifice, but I still think... Yeah, okay. I was about to say, I still think we win as we just go wide on them. So yeah, we're going to be picking up our first victory in a Game 3 here with our Bant Flyers. And... I think I'm just going to call it, honestly. Like, today's my off day and my girlfriend's off as well, so I think I'm going to call it here. Probably try and come back later tonight and live stream the Bant Flyers, you know, so that you guys that do enjoy the live stream and enjoy seeing the decks, y'all can really give me a few tips on how to make this Bant Aggro Flyers deck work a little bit better, as it does seem like it's a viable deck, right, to actually climb at least through gold with. I won't say much higher than that, but it does seem like a very legit deck that could work out very easily and very well. It feels like 1 or 2 cards are off in it. Like I said, it may just be the Resplendent Angel. I'll have to dig deeper into it. Nonetheless, thank you all for showing up and watching the video. It really does mean the world to me, and to be completely honest, the support that I've gotten here on the channel since October, since I started, is just absolutely fucking crazy, and I'm loving it. And we're doing great. We're over 750, so like 250 more and we'll be at 1,000 subscribers, and I can't thank y'all enough. Things have been awesome. I've been having like an absolute fucking blast being able to be a content creator thus far and being able to put out videos that people actually want to watch. So yeah, again, thanks. Excuse me. Thanks tremendously to everyone that tunes into every video and shows up for all the live streams. Y'all that always comment, y'all that like the videos. It means the world to me. It is super awesome. So that's gonna do it for this video. As always, I'll either see y'all later tonight or tomorrow, and peace.